Says show the grade of a particular student, right? So using this join statement, we can relate multiple tables together, right, and view them. Now look at this. We said select student ID, E dot student ID, C dot course name, E again dot grade. Now we don't know the meaning of this E, C, and E. Then here we now say what? Enrollment E. So this means anywhere we see E, it means what? It's referencing the enrollment table. And anywhere we see C, it's referencing what? The courses table. Right? So in order to join these two things, we say what? Join courses C. Now enrollment is the one that is having the record of both tables, right? Then now we're saying, okay, enrollment, join the records that you have in courses, which is called C. And then what can you use in order to map the record you have there and the record you have there? We're now going to say that the course ID is the same thing as what? Course ID. Do you understand? In the enrollment table, we have a column called what? Course ID. In the courses table, we have something called what? ID. Now this ID, the course ID, was referenced, is a foreign key that is referencing the ID in the courses table. Are we together? Now, this is where we now say, okay, join this table with the enrollment on these very columns that they have. E dot course ID equals to C dot ID. Then now, that is not all. After you link these two things, we want you to only fetch where the enrollment is for only the student with an ID of what? 7. Do you understand? Only the students with an ID of 7. So even if it relates these two tables, enrollment and courses table, you should only fetch the one that relates to the student that have what? The ID of 7. Are we together? Now let me copy this and then let me click on go, and then we'll see what is going to happen. Now you can see this. This student having the ID of 7 took this course with the name of Introduction to ME. I don't know what ME is. And then he got what? B minus. And then he also took this course, Introduction to Computer Science, and then he got what? B. This is the result for this student. But it is related to what? 2 tables. Are we together? Now this is a bit confusing because joints is a whole topic on its own. Now when we are talking about joints, there are different types of joints. There is even the left joint, there is the right joint, there is the inner joint. All of these are different types of joints. But this is when you start going advanced into database. But it will help you a lot when you are relating to multiple tables at the same time. Are we together? So it's all about research. Go and read on it and you get to understand it. So let me paste this code here. Now let's see the next question. Add a new student to the database. Add a new student to the database. So basically we want, so it says a new student to the database. Okay, so we can just come to our SQL. Now what's the last student that we have here? We have students with the ID of 20. Can you see it? Okay. So now let's insert a new student. So here we are going to say what? Insert what? Into what? Students. So we can just put our bracket like this. There was the student. Give me, the first thing is the name, Abby. What's the name of the student? Let's try it and see. So the last one was 20, ba? So let's say this one is 21, ba? Abdul@gmail.com. What's the phone number of Abdul? Then what's the department of Abdul? Let's say mathematics, right? Now let's try it this way. You're asking if it's going to work. We click on go. So it's saying, okay, I think we have to add, no, values. So let's do this. We click on go, and then we have our table inserted. Are we together? So we did not define the columns that we wanted to be added to. We just put the values. So it now assumes that this is mapping to those columns that we have. Now let's browse and see the data that we have. Right? Now I want to delete this last data that we just added. So basically it's having what? An ID of 21. So I can come here to my SQL. So this is just by the way. I could just come to our SQL and say what? Delete from students where ID is equals to what? 21. So when I do this and I click on go, so it's asking me to confirm. I click on OK, and then it deletes it. And now we're having what? 20. Now if they ask you how many students are on this table, how many will you say? 20 students. But why? How many? How many number of students do we have? 20. Why? Because the last ID is 20, right? Okay, now let's try something. Let's add a new student. So here basically we have to put 21 Abi. So let me take this out and try and see if it's going to add. So this is not Abdul Hadi. This is not Abdul Karim. So Abdul Karim is having K here. And then his number ends with 22. And then he's in physics. So let's try this without the ID and see what happens. We click on go. Okay, it doesn't match. So let's add it using. So since we are taking out the ID, so we're going to put what now? We're going to put those columns that I want it to be inserted to. So we're going to say insert into this student. Then we're going to put this, right? So we're going to omit we're going to omit what? ID. Then what here? Phone. And what? Department. So this way it's going to enter. Right? So we do this. We click on what? Go. And then it's saying ID doesn't have a default value. Okay. Okay. Let's put out 21. Sir? Okay, so something happened. So there was an explanation I gave earlier. So I was very, very wrong about the explanation. So it's supposed to do it automatically. Do you understand? So initially I told you that the primary key is going to carry, what is it called? It's going to carry the automatic increment automatically. But no, we have to explicitly state it that it should auto increment. Right? So that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so I mean we have just solved that. We added a new student. Right? So let's try the next thing and see what happens.